So that will be recording so that I can make this available to everybody tomorrow, so that those who are unable to come may be able to view it. So why choose MIPS? This question's come to me a lot over the last few weeks as people have been calling and emailing. And really it's because no programs are the same, because no two students are the same. Here at MIPS, we are a tuition-free virtual K-12 school. We offer flexible, customizable learning solutions, and it's really a chance for students to learn in the safety of their own home or in one of our drop-in learning labs without worrying about bullying, peer pressure, or the other threats that are common in today's schools. It's a chance for accelerated students to work on curriculum above their grade level. And no longer do they have to wait for the rest of the class to catch up. It's high school students that can get a jump start on college through the dual enrollment process. It's a chance for high school students also to potentially graduate early. And it's an effort to help kids rediscover their passion for learning and to reach their full potential. We want them to really be innovators for tomorrow. We're trying to help develop that next generation who's going to lead our society. So who do we serve then in a nutshell? We serve students who reside anywhere in the state of Michigan. Students in grades kindergarten through high school, those who have dropped out of school and would like to start back towards the diploma, those whose extracurricular schedule makes attending regular school difficult or impossible. I know in a former district, I had a student who was really motivated to try and become an Olympic figure skater. She missed a lot of school. This type of a program met some of her needs. It's for those who struggle with a variety of social, emotional issues, such as anxiety or other medical needs. Those who are ahead of their peers and want to move as fast as they can through their learning. Or for those whose parents don't feel comfortable in the traditional school environment. But a couple of things, cyber charter, that's what virtual schools are known by in all of the state documentation. A cyber charter school can't pay a stipend to parents for reimbursement of extracurricular activities or core curricular activities such as music lessons, sports, and really no publicly funded school can do this. So even a brick and mortar school can't do that. We can't allow students to only complete a couple of courses each year. There are set minimums that the state has required for students to be able to count as a full-time student. Cyber charter schools can't take students part-time. There's a regulation in the law that states they'd have to be part of a regular school and the public school charter school, and that's not a cyber charter. We can't offer any courses that are not taught by a Michigan certified teacher. That's a big deal with the state, that they want our students to be taught by somebody who knows the regulations within our state. And we can't allow students to complete an associate's degree through dual enrollment during their high school years. We can offer dual enrollment. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the early middle college program in the state of Michigan is the only one authorized to allow through an associate's degree within the state. But what can we do? Here's the exciting part. We can allow students to do sequential learning depending upon their educational development plan. That's often referred to as an EDP in state documentation or in discussions with people. What that means is that you're going to sit down with a mentor and your teacher, director of student services. That team is going to work together with you and your child to develop what is their best learning plan. So sequential learning means that we have to have, by our state law, for our program, 10 courses throughout the year. Well, maybe your child does really well with just 2 classes at a time. Now, I'm going to caution that this doesn't mean that they can finish 2 classes in 6 months' time. It's within a more regulated time frame because 10 classes still have to be done. But we're able to make it work for that student depending on what they need through that sequential learning. That's a really exciting feature. We can support students outside the traditional environment. It's not just your 7:30 to 2:30 high school typical time. There's opportunities to connect with your teachers outside of the school day. We can do the go-to meetings like this for tutoring, for extra support, at any time really. We can eliminate many of the distractions that exist in the regular school environment. The drama, the bullying, the issues that generally occur on a regular day-to-day basis, and just the wasted time because your student's in charge of their learning. We can support students via dual enrollment up to 10 classes during their high school years. And we can offer different curriculums based upon the actual needs of the student. If you looked at our website, you'll notice that we don't just have one program out there. because we're trying to find what will work for the different students that we're going to serve. Some more things that we can do. We can provide a closer connection with mentors and teachers. That doesn't always happen in the brick and mortar schools where they've got 35 students in their classroom sitting in front of them on a day-to-day basis. We can offer additional courses as students complete their coursework and want to move ahead. So when I refer to the 10 courses, let me go ahead and mute somebody real quickly. The 10 courses, that's our floor, not our ceiling. So a student completes their 5 courses in this time period and they want an extra one, something really interesting and we offer it. Absolutely, that student can jump in and start that course when they've completed those other courses. We can allow parents to have more say in their child's education. And we can create opportunities for independent study elective courses in grades 9 to 12. That's in close connection with myself and the Director of Student Services and their mentor. So MIPS really is unique because of what we offer. We offer support from a mentor alongside with their regular content teachers. That mentor is assigned to your child and is going to help them with all the logistics of learning. So if there's issues logging in, if there's issues with the equipment or something with the curriculum itself, they can reach out directly to that mentor first. They're their best cheerleader on the sidelines. And then they also have their content teachers that are full-time for us that work directly with our students through a variety of means, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. The educational development plan that we mentioned earlier, that's where the mentor and the teachers come in to guide your child's schooling. That says what we can and can't do for them. We also offer drop-in learning labs that have some elective courses that we're building available, as well as tutoring and additional one-on-one support. Currently, we have sites in Oak Park and Sandusky and are opening Brandon Township and Howell this coming year. As we continue to identify areas of high concentration of students that we feel we can serve with a drop-in learning lab, we're going to continue opening those throughout the state. And something really exciting is the live lessons that our teachers offer weekly for our core classes. That's to ensure that direct support for the curriculum. So for example, I'll be teaching an English class also this year, because in administration, sometimes we really miss teaching, and that's where I get to get back to that. Well, one of the things that I'm excited about is when I find that my students might struggle, say, with how to create the paragraph, how to really persuade, I can create that live lesson directly for those students that struggle. What's really exciting with this is that as students are moving ahead and they're advancing throughout, and they might not need my live lesson, they're not going to be mandated to come to that live lesson. This is all about support. We do what the students need, not just to be redundant and because we feel we want to check some box. We also offer that minimum of 10 courses per year that students have to complete, and then they can go on and complete as many more as they want to throughout that year. We offer a flexible school year if the student needs more support. Our school year actually runs from September through August of the following year, so that we don't have to worry about the extended school year things. We go throughout the summer for those students who need support. But like I said before, if your child has completed their 10 courses and that's all that they want to do for that year, then they're done. They don't have to go into any of the summer programs. It's there for when our students need us. We offer support for special education, 504, or IEP needs through our special education team. We offer schedules based upon student achievement and needs, not just a fixed time. Referring to grade levels there, if a student wants to move ahead. We have access to supplemental materials such as IXL, PrepWorks, Base Learning. That Base Learning is a character curriculum through Odyssey Ware. IXL has all the different standards that a student might need in math or ELA or science or social studies, and our students all have access to that and will be part of our curriculum in the lower grade levels. And the PrepWorks is some of that test prep to help them prepare for the PSAT and SAT. We also offer alternative education options. Then this is quite unique in the virtual world, where we allow students up to the age of 22 that need that credit recovery or additional work towards their high school diploma. We've done this intentionally because we all know that the high school diploma sometimes is the gatekeeper, in most cases is the gatekeeper to a better life. Without such, a student can't even enter the military because they don't accept GEDs anymore. We want students to be able to do whatever they want to do, regardless of the bumps and the hiccups that came along the way. We also use a variety of curriculum. Depending on that need of the students, like we've talked about, and that EDP, for the elementary grades, K to 5, we use Lincoln Learning, Pearson, or Accelerate Education. In the middle and the high school, we have Accelerate Education, Odyssey-ware. We also have some additional programs that we don't have right here, but to be NCAA compliant. If your student athlete wants to go on to play in the NCAA college, Division I or Division II, they have to have certain curriculum requirements met. And through Lincoln Learning and Edmentum, those are met and approved through the NCAA board. I want to give you a chance to listen to one student about her opportunity that she came in with this year. So I'm going to pause me talking and let's listen to Emily.
Michigan International Prep School because traditional school wasn't really working out for me. I was in a place where I was starting to fall behind because I couldn't get to school for medical reasons. Michigan International Prep School is very flexible, and I was able to not only complete my sophomore year on time, but also graduate a year early. My time at the school has been amazing. My mentor has been like a friend too, just always encouraging me to keep doing my best.
And that one really was an exciting opportunity to work with her to help her get to that next level that she wanted to go on to. And so here's some of our application information, and I'll come back to the screen after we do the Q&A. I know people's lives are busy, so I didn't want to take a ton of time. We just wanted to address a lot of the questions in the slides that we've been getting from interested parents. You can see us on Facebook there. You can make that phone call. And like I said, this is going to be posted tomorrow. But now I wanted to give some real time for some Q&A. So I'm going to unmute some of these callers that I had muted in case they want to talk. You can mute yourself if you'd like. I'm going to turn back on my camera. And if you want to turn on your camera, again, it's that button there on the right-hand side of your screen that looks like a little video camera, and ask away. And I'll also be repeating some of the ones that we're getting in the chat to the organizers so that I can ask those directly to everybody. So how many college courses can a student take? Right now in the law, and as our school board has allowed us to, it's up to 10 courses over the course of their high school years. And there's an algorithm set up by the state if they enter in as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors, so they can catch up to that 10. And we're continuously looking at that as the law changes, which the laws change every year, as what we might be able to offer more for our students in the future. And another question there is, how can my friends access the informational video? Again, that's going to be posted online at our Facebook page and on our website tomorrow. And what's the biggest difference between your school and Michigan Connections Academy? That's a good question. I don't know all the details of all the other virtual schools. I believe Michigan Connections Academy primarily leans upon Pearson. Catherine Karen might be able to answer more for that for us. But we do a lot of we have our drop-in learning labs, we have our live lessons, we have those things that we are offering as much support as possible for our students all along the way, including tutoring. Well, we got lots of questions coming in here. This is great. Is there prep for the Michigan standardized testing for the elementary level? Anything that our students need, we're going to be able to offer. Our elementary teacher, Ms. Skilling, is actually on with us tonight, and she might be able to address that if she'd like to hop on. We'll give her a moment. I'll skip on, we can come back to that question. Yes, the video presentation is everything that you saw tonight is recorded and will be posted tomorrow. What is in the learning lab specifically for early elementary? So we have our staff, that's where they operate out of, is out of our learning labs. So it's not a site where somebody can just be dropped off with no support. In our elementary schools, we do require a learning coach, because any of the programs need somebody to be there on the side of the student right there. And it's not a lot of time. The students need to check in. So for instance, my daughter has gone through, she's always my guinea pig, one of my 5, and she goes through some of the curriculum for me so I can see what is going on. And she was able to go through an entire unit with limited intervention from me. But when she had a question, she would ask me and I could help her out with that. Which colleges are the courses through? And that really depends upon the college. All the community colleges participate in dual enrollment. When a student lets us know that they are interested in a particular college, so by where I live, Delta College is here, then we create the agreement with Delta College to be able to provide that service through them, with the pay and everything that needs to be taken care of. Catherine Karen, our Director of Student Services, focuses on that for our students' needs. My child needs an IEP. Can you set that up? We have a team upon enrollment. We have a team of special education teachers who work with you to make sure that this is the best fit for your child, and what things that might need in the IEP. So yes, we offer support for students with IEPs, 504s, any of those things that children need. What curricula do you use? I'm going to go back a couple of slides here just to show that. Here's our primary curriculum. Again, depending on the needs of students, we have some supplemental things that we can also help them with. That's always in discussion with the mentor and myself and the Director of Student Services. Somebody typed in that sequential learning is also different than what that Connections Academy does. So that's another thing. Thank you for posting that out there to me. And that sequential learning, again, just to reiterate, is that if your child does best with one course at a time for, say, 3 or 4 weeks, then that's what we can do. We can program that for them to work on that course, and then they'll have their next course, and so on. All 10 courses will be programmed in for the student throughout the year, but then they'll be working on them at the pace that we've set up with them. Can we provide students with a laptop? We're going to work to make sure that students have everything that they need to be successful in this program. So anything along those technological lines, we can help take care of. And also a note about, several people have asked about the learning labs. Our new Brandon location is very specifically oriented towards our elementary. It has a whole section actually of it that's an elementary focused wing. So we can have the manipulatives and the things that those students might need to be able to be more successful, so we can teach them however we need to help them learn the material. And Ms. Karen clarified that dual enrollment is available through any college in the state of Michigan. And so we just have to work with whatever school that you want to work with. So going back to that question from before. And the question, can we pick our own schedules? For example, can we start at 10 a.m. and take Tuesday off? And that's always a discussion with your student's mentor, so that we can do that sequential learning. We just need to know what the schedule is for that student. If your student, I had a student once at a former virtual school that I had started, that they did their best work from midnight to 4 in the morning. Now, as for me, I sleep during that time. I can't do my best work then, but the student did, and they were sleeping during the early starts. So we absolutely applaud students' initiatives in finding out what's best for them. There's a few people that aren't muted that are coming through. So double check that your microphone icon is red. I want to leave you unmuted just in case you want to ask some questions. Do we require attendance to be taken every day and hours logged? No, we require completion and progress through the course. So that may mean that if your student's doing sequential learning and they can really knock things out for 4 or 5 hours in one day and they need to take some time off to recover, that's what's going to be best for that student. And so we have a means. You may have been in other schools with count day and logging in. We have a means through our live lessons that we're going to be meeting with all of our students on that count day, so we can take the attendance and make sure that they have everything that they need to be ready for the school year. Any local events, and this one said specifically in Bay City, and I'm not sure if that's referring to local, like where we're going to be sharing out information. And absolutely, as we have enough people that are interested in a face-to-face session, we can make those happen around the area. I actually reside in Bay City, so that could be easy for me to do. And we don't have a drop-in center yet in our area in the Tri-Cities, but that is on our target list for the following year, so that we can make that. We have a growing number of students up here, and we want to make it available for them. And there's a, let's see. And again, Ms. Karen piped in here on the chat box that we do not have specifically required hours of attendance. We just measure progress, not time. Count days are required twice per year, just like any school in the state of Michigan has those count days. Our mentor teachers, some of our mentors are certified teachers. Others are in the progress of working towards that certification. We're working with a program trying to get the state approval for it to be able to certify those mentors, but some of them are actual certified teachers that are functioning as our mentors. The MSTEP for the elementary grades, we do participate in all of the state testing, MSTEP and the PSAT, which is new now for 8th grade and 9th grade. It was already for 9th grade and 10th grade, and then the SAT for 11th. And we work those out either through our drop-in learning labs, or another thing that we're working on is partnerships with local schools to try and enable the students to take the tests at their whatever school is closest to them. And that's a work in progress. And somebody asked a question about the standards, and all of our courses are aligned with the Michigan Merit Curriculum. I should have mentioned that earlier, because that's an important aspect in any school in the state of Michigan. Somebody asked about field trips, and yes, we are setting up field trips. That will be in one location. Parents would need to transport down there if they want to be part of that, but we're looking at doing them in different quadrants of the state, wherever there are interesting things that our students can benefit from learning about. And the daily assignments, they have work, and whether it's daily or not, they have the curriculum has to be completed. And so if they want to do it daily, and say they want to work on social studies for 30 minutes a day and science 30 minutes a day, that's generally about how much you would need to do for each of those to complete it throughout the whole semester, which we're not really on semester, so in that half a year time. But if you're looking at, do we have to complete it every single day? That's, again, we're not focused on the time, we're focused on the progress of the student. There's a question about guidance counselors, be able to guide me step by step in the enrollment process and placement. Absolutely. We have Crystal Moore is our assistant registrar, and she does a phenomenal job with our families, helping them to feel comfortable and walking through that process. If there's ever questions, people feel free to reach out to me directly, so I can answer those either via phone or email. And Catherine Karen has years of experience working in the virtual world. She's going to work to do what's best for your student and make you feel comfortable along the way. And then I've had 2 questions that have come in about the 10 dual enrolled classes as a limit. And the state did change it recently, that if a district decides to support that beyond that, it's possible. They have not given additional clarifications to us about what that means, because that's potentially at odds with the early middle college legislation. And this is not uncommon with new regulations. So we are awaiting further clarification from them, and then our board will decide upon what they want to do towards that end of potentially offering more for those students who qualify for that. And back to that question about completing the course assignments, just so you know, all of our course assignments are laid out through with a calendar based upon the individual student's schedule. Again, that sequential learning. Being involved in count days, that is the way that we're looking at doing it this year. Ordinarily, in a traditional virtual school, you'd have to complete a certain number of assignments in every course that you are enrolled in for that day. Now, again, in sequential learning, that changes that a little bit. What we're looking at doing is having our students be face-to-face with our teachers over the camera on those count days, that turn on their webcam and be seen there, so that we can make sure that they actually know their teacher. So it's not just somebody on the other end of a screen, and so that our teachers know them. And we want more of that connection so that your students and your children feel more comfortable reaching out to their teachers in a time of need. Another question about accreditation. Yes, we are working towards accreditation this coming school year, and we expect to have that done by the end of the school year. There's a question that came in about a daughter that turns 5 the middle of September. Can she get a waiver and still start kindergarten? I'm going to let Ms. Karen respond to that right there on the chat, because I don't know the answer to that one. There's a couple of questions that came in about supplies and materials. Depending on the course, some materials may need to be sent. Other times, materials that are used in the course might be, say, pinto beans that are easily found in most homes. Then those of course would be provided by the home. And yes, we can accept a student who turns 5 by December 1st, to answer that question. And just scrolling back through here on the questions. Looks like nobody wants to put their voice out there, and that's okay. As you look through, you should be able to see answers to some of the questions there in the comment bar. What about extracurriculars? Any partnerships there? And that's an avenue that we are working towards establishing those partnerships, both with other schools and within the schools, to be able to do assessments there. So we are actively pursuing any leads that we have for schools that are interested in having some partnerships with us. Charter schools by nature have greater restrictions placed upon them with whom they can partner. Typically, it only becomes the regular school, what they call the local education agency. Okay. So are there times where there is no school? What is the holiday schedule? The holiday schedule will be posted and sent to all the parents. We have our traditional holiday breaks, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break. The beauty of the cyber environment is that if your child is bored over Christmas, which generally happens the second day after they open their presents, then they can start working on their coursework again. There's no limit to when they can log on. It's just that time they won't be having new assignments added to them. So at times some students play catch up a little bit on that as well. Our authorizing district is Ovid-Elsie. I'm just making sure I haven't missed any questions. Okay, and our 18-19 calendar is posted on our website as well. And our school opened this past fall, and working towards accreditation, the state gives you a time period for that. A question about a family trip. That really actually sounds exciting. Going to Europe. How would this work with assignments? Would we need to, just looking over there, would we need to log in? If your child is doing their work and they're progressing nicely and they're going to go learn about the Middle Ages, then they can go and enjoy that learning experience with no fear about that logging in time. It really depends about the count day, which I'm going to look in my calendar here real quickly to find that date. September is October 3rd, I believe, this year. So in September, that should be fine. And again, we can alter schedules depending on your schedule, your vacation days, so that the classes aren't building up lots of assignments. Are there any other questions? And we'll wrap this up, let you all have the rest of your evening. And I want to point out really that our goal, just as we wrap up as a staff, is that care and support and respect for each family and their individual needs. We're going to be in touch with you multiple times a week, either like this on the webcam through GoToMeeting, or through emails, or through phone calls, or however we can best communicate with you through our drop-in learning labs. Whatever we need to do to help support you and your family, that's what we're committed to. We built a team of educators that are truly committed to this way of learning, and we are trying to develop new and innovative programs so that it's beyond the normal. We always think differently, as Steve Jobs talked about, and we're trying to continue making that our mantra. And I think that's about it. There's one more question that's very specific, and I'll have our Ms. Karen has reached out to that person. So if there are no further questions tonight, let me go back to this slide so you can have any of the information that you might need again. And again, feel free to reach out. Our phone numbers and emails are posted there on our website at miprepschool.org. You can reach out to us on our Facebook. We'll communicate that way. And we'll be hosting more of these informational sessions throughout the year. We're going to give all the families next week with their 4th of July, and probably the week after we won't have another one. But by the second to last week of July and all the way through August and in September, we'll be hosting weekly informationals that will be broadcast to families so you can hop in and ask any questions. If you'd like to learn more from a mentor's perspective, our Director of Teaching and Learning, Jamie Abrego, has invited you to call him directly. His number's there in the chat. So please feel free to reach out to him, and he can give you the firsthand account of what the mentors do, because he oversees that specific part of the program. If there are no other questions, I just want to thank you all for giving us of your time tonight. I know it's a busy time of year with summer, but we appreciate it. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. This again will be posted tomorrow, and we look forward to talking to you soon.